gets herself together.
Today we should do it again. No, that was so
we can be quiet. We can be quiet.
I can't do it. I'm stopping this. I'm stopping.
No, just go. Just go.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Pláticas with hermanes. And today we have two special guests. It's Maria and Katelyn.
Hey!
For today, we're going to be talking about something that's been done or probably not been done if you've done it before, but it's a hot topic and it's studying abroad.
Yeah.
We're excited to be sharing with y'all about our studying abroad experiences. Thank you for having us on the podcast.
Of course. But before we get into it, do you guys want to introduce yourself? Like name, year, pronouns, where you're from?
Yes. Okay, so my name is Katelyn. I'm currently a fourth year human biology and society major with a minor in brain and behavioral health. My pronouns are she, her, ella, and I'm from South Central LA.
Hey y'all, my name is Katelyn. I'm a fourth year double majoring in Psych and Chicanic Studies. My pronouns are she, her, ella, and I'm from the Bay Area.
Okay, well guys, you guys already know who I am. I don't have to introduce myself, but we're going to dive into it. So, what's studying abroad? Because I'm not going to lie, I just think of studying abroad as going somewhere for classes, but go ahead, tell me the details. What is it?
Well, I would say one thing how I would describe studying abroad is that it's it can be what you make of it, and it doesn't have to just be a summer thing. Like, you can also do it during the quarters, but
I would say studying abroad, it's not only taking classes in a new city, but it's really immersing yourself in the culture of whatever country that you're in, and really trying to, the way I was described it is you're not a tourist because you're living there for a longer period of time, but you're a student, and so that carries a little more weight from what I was told when I was in the UCEAP program. That's the first thing they told me, you're not a tourist, you're invested in the culture and the cultural differences between I studied abroad in Italy, so between Italy and America, and you're really learning who you are in this new area.
But they knew you guys were from there, right?
Yeah.
I would walk down the little streets and whatnot, and the people in the stands would be like, Mexico!
Oh my God.
You want to buy?
Oh my.
They would say it in Italian/Spanish, but they'd be like, Mexico! And I'd be like,
Yeah,
I thought it was funny, but I said American, so it was fine.
That's true. Because I feel
Mexico is a crazy way to get called.
I'm who are they talking
Yes.
to? It's only me in the street, Mexico! I'm oh!
That's crazy.
Okay, but how does it work? How did you guys sign up? How did you guys hear about it? How do you guys keep in the loop with it, though?
So I was actually at YRL, it was during midterm season, and I was procrastinating on my midterms, on my assignments, and I really wanted to study abroad, and it was one of my dreams when I came into college, but because I've always been super busy, during the quarters or during the year, I always had a position in something, my second year as an RA, then last year I was fundraising chair for hermanes, and then I knew that by my senior year I wanted to be co-chair, so I was oh, I can't study abroad during the school year, I guess that dream is out the window. But then I thought about doing it over the summer, and so then I went to the studying abroad at UCLA. Literally just looked up studying abroad at UCLA, and there was different programs. There was one where you could do an internship, and then I'm a psych major and I'm a double major, but typically I take more psych classes because it's a heavier course load. But I knew that I was going to graduate on time, and I had extra classes, so I didn't need to do anything related to my major. So then I knew that I wanted to study abroad in Italy, and I was looking at the different programs they offered, and I came across UCEAP, and it was super cool. It was it was really immersing yourself into the cultural differences between America and Italy, and you're really learning from locals about the area, the food, and how the food in the city connects to the culture, and it's the heart of Italian culture, and then how the city still plays a big role in the lifestyle today. So I was super intrigued. So then I just applied because I didn't want to do my other work, and I knew I wanted to do this. And then I went home for winter break, and I told my parents, and then I got in.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What about for you?
I would say for me, so I think like going into college and like in my first year, I had heard a lot of people talk about study abroad and how it was such an amazing experience. And I definitely had felt the feeling of like, damn, like that sounds so cool. But I had in the back of my mind, like I could never do it. Like I don't have the money. Like it's just not in the books for me, unfortunately. Like I just thought like it was never gonna happen. But then like my going into my third year, like I was first of all the refund be hitting, so I was like, look, I'm not that broke. Like I have a little bit of money to spare, you know. And then and then so going into my third year, I wasn't looking into any programs though. But I remember at the time I did have a lot of friends who were talking about studying abroad, and I think one of my friends had just done one that summer, and I got an email, and it was beginning of November, and the application for the program I looked into or that I got emailed about was due like in 2 weeks from when I got that email and saw it. So I was kind of like, oh, if I want to do this, like I have to do it now. And so I was reading through like the email, and it was from the Global Internship Program, which is basically it's part of the International Education Office, and they're another, I think that's what it is, but it's definitely IEO, but they're another like branch of UCLA that does study abroad programs. But basically, it was talking about how it was an opportunity to go to South America. They have two actually like internships you can do, but they're based in health. So I would be able to get experience in my field. So my program, I didn't take it as much for like class credit as I did for like experience, which is a really cool part of study abroad. Like you don't have to take it just for classes. They also, through the Global Internship Program, they have a lot of internships. So if you want to work in a different country or get experience like that, they have that as well. So yeah, so I saw this program and I was like it's really relevant to me. I want to get better at like my medical Spanish. So I was like, you know what? I probably won't do it, but let me just apply in case maybe that summer I decide, you know what, I'm gonna go. Like it doesn't hurt to apply. So I got my application ready real quick. It was literally just like I probably had to answer like 3 prompts and they weren't long.
Yeah, for my application it wasn't long either. It was like an hour long, I think.
So I was like, let me just fill it out, see what happens. And then so for my program, like a few months later, they like accepted me. I think they accept everyone. I don't think they get too many applications.
No, some of it depends on where you go to, because like I know that there's like a program in Scotland where like it's for like the physics courses or something.
I've heard
like
people
that one, like stuff like that are like specifically for like major specific. It is a little more competitive.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's what I think about like physics in Scotland's kind of crazy. Like
I think it's
people
easy
do
too,
like
but
that program,
people
though.
really like that program. I had a couple of friends that did it, and my friend Joss, she also I think did like she went to London, and it was specifically like for like major credits, like major and minor credits, I think. So like, yeah. I don't know.
See, but I think if I'm like sad and I was doing like physics, I'd be happy. Like I'm in Scotland,
No,
so like I'm like I have physics, but I'm like I'm in Scotland.
Yeah.
Wait, but I was gonna ask. So you said it was like the global department. Said it was the I.
Yeah, it's International Education Office, I think. It's definitely IEO though.
Okay.
Those are the initials.
Okay, and then I was gonna ask for you. What was you said?
It was UC EAP. So the UC Educational Opportunity Program, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
EAP.
You said E.
Oh wait, no, UC.
The letters ain't letters.
No, they're not letters. It's something.
I think, is it Education Abroad?
Education Abroad Program, yeah. Sorry.
Oh.
I've had a long day.
No
Can we cut?
Cut that out.
Oh my god, we cut out. But, okay, and like if you guys are comfortable asking, or answering, not asking, answering, is the flight covered? Like, is that like part of like your financial aid, or like how does that work?
I think with every program, it depends. So I know that for me, the only thing, I got the same coverage that I would get like during the school year. So they paid for like tuition, but then housing was on me. And low-key, it was pretty expensive. But I did get a scholarship. Like there's tons of scholarships that you could apply through with like both programs. And I had a scholarship in line already that I knew that I would have like extra funds for, so that I could allocate to be able to study abroad. So that's what I had done. And then flights weren't included. Low-key, I think that's the only thing I paid like out of pocket, plus like whatever like I wanted to buy like food wise, and then like knickknacks or like souvenirs.
Mhm.
Those are the only things I paid for, which honestly is a pretty great deal because you're able to like just get there and like be able to like explore everything you want without like the worry of like, oh, like I need like X, Y, and Z, like I need to book like this hotel and this like while you stay. Well, everything's like figured out. But so yeah, the only thing that I had to pay for was flights and like whatever like my necessities were. But yeah, it is a pretty penny, but there's a ton of scholarships out there. Hermanas Unidas does have a scholarship, so if you're worried about like the financial needs, like our scholarship isn't the biggest, but it'll definitely help cover like at least like some of your flight. So definitely apply to our scholarship because like that could be like the first step in like kind of like making like some funds for you to study abroad.
Yeah, for my program, I think the aid is pretty limited. I didn't get a lot covered. But yeah, thankfully I had a lot of refund money left over from like the past 2 years that I was able to use to help me cover it. But I did pay for my flights out of pocket and they were expensive. Like I had 3 layovers and it was still in total like over $1,000 for my flights. So yeah, the flights are definitely expensive, but I think there's a lot of scholarship resources. I remember when I was going through the process, like, I was the end of the year, I was burnt out, I was like, I'm not trying to apply to scholarships right now, but there are a lot available, and
apply early.
Yes, and then, yeah, there are, like, some aid available, but I think at least for my program, it's a little bit less than what you would usually get, like, during the year.
I will say one of our hermanas, Jasmine, she studied abroad in Colombia.
The same program as you.
Oh, the same program as you. And she was able to, like advocate for herself to get more money.
Yeah.
So like definitely like there's always like if you're in like financial need and you really want to study abroad, like this is an opportunity that you deserve. So definitely like advocate for yourself and make sure that like you're trying to like everything out. And like for us, I think that was also my mistake. Like I also should have like applied for scholarships just for like, because honestly like traveling is like expensive itself, and like if you're studying abroad like in Europe specifically, the euro is more expensive than the dollar, and so like it is a pretty penny, like it adds up. So I wish I would have like cushioned a little more money. But yeah, like start applying for scholarships like earlier on in the year, especially like if you know like from after you like apply like to like the program, apply to scholarships too.
Oh, and one quick tip on that now while we're talking about it, like take out as much cash as you can to bring cash into these countries, because cash is usually more valuable than if you like try to exchange with a credit card, at least where I was.
Yeah, and then you can haggle more easily if like you want stuff. And like don't exchange, or you could exchange at like your local banks and they'll give you like the best possible deals, or not deal, but like you know what I mean, like the best possible like outcome, rather than if you like don't exchange at the airport, because that's it'll end up being like super expensive, or like last minute. So definitely once like you know that you're gonna go, and like a week before your trip, go ahead and talk to your bank about like exchanging, because they'll give you the best prices, but you just need to let them know ahead of time. Like for me, it was like 2 to 3 business days, and that you needed to let them know.
Dang.
Yeah, and those are things like you don't think about until like
you're there.
Yeah,
it happens. I was gonna ask too, for the flight, when you guys are booking them, I feel like that's very stressful. But do you guys book it like just a flight there, and then like once you're like the program's over, like you book it back, or is it just like you put the day that you're leaving and then the day you're coming back?
I think it depends for everyone you want.
Yeah, so for my program, I think that's also why the flight is so expensive, because they planned the program so late. So I was buying my flight like a month or 2 before it started. So you know, like the earlier you buy it, the better. So I wish they would tell us earlier. But for my program, they told us the exact dates. Like you need to fly in this day and you need to leave this day. So that's how you book it. You book it round trip, at least for me.
And then I ended up staying longer because I studied abroad with my best friend I met up with my best friend Joss, because she studied abroad in London and I studied abroad in Italy, and she wanted to visit Italy, and there was still like a couple more cities that I wanted to visit personally, so I ended up just doing like one ways. But definitely book far in advance, because like the earlier you can, like the better it is. And even I think for me it was cheaper to like fly back than it was to like fly in. But like definitely would recommend Google Flights will be your best friend, and like check everything, because like check like directly like airline companies, check Expedia, and then check Google Flights. I found the best prices on Google Flights.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I don't remember. I don't think I found the best one Google Flights. But also on that note, sorry. For my program too, you can book to say, like, let's say you have plans to travel after your program. You just kind of have to let them know, like, oh, this is where I'm going after. Because for my program, they ask for like your itinerary, like how's your plan to get there, and then what's your plan to like get back or wherever you're going after.
For my program, they just asked my itinerary, like to get to Italy. After we were done with the program, they didn't care. They were done.
You did. That's it. Not my problem anymore.
Yeah.
Wait, that sounds so stressful. I've also, like, fun fact, I've never been on an airplane before.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's
never.
crazy.
Like, I've never traveled anywhere that far. Like that.
I don't know. Maybe she's gonna be studying abroad now.
No, okay, I was going to say, because I feel like I've always seen, like, studying abroad for, like, my English, like, department. So it's always, like, London, Scotland, but, like, it's always, like, Shakespeare stuff. But, like, it goes towards, like, your major. But I'm also, like, always afraid, because I'm, like, I don't know, because I thought, like, originally FAFSA covers this, like, you know, like, 12 units or more. So I thought, I was like, how am I going to take, like, the classes like that if they only offer, like, 2? Because I think there was one. I seen recently, I think, is it Paris? I think it might be Paris. But, like, you take, like, a French course and, like, another one that goes towards, like a foreign literature for English. And I was like, how's this going to cover? Like, I need more units. Like, but is that, like, you guys only, well, yours is different because you did an internship. But, like, you did classes over there, right?
I did do classes. I think I only ended up taking 8 units.
Mine too.
But, like, I was able to get, like, a lot more financial aid than I originally thought. I think for some students, and it depends on which program, like, you can advocate to take, like, more, like, classes, like, online. That way, like, it'll fulfill, like, the 12 units, like, period. So that was, like, my biggest recommendation. Like, I think you just have to find a way to work the system. And then I know so my study abroad, like, without like financial aid was $8,000, and I know for other students it was like $11,000, and it was like $13,000. I said no to everything like you might possibly think of, like in terms of like the extra added stuff. The only thing I would look into just in case is like some sort of insurance abroad, because I got really, really, really sick my first week in Italy, and I was like in bed with like a fever, and like I had to pay like out of pocket for like a doctor to come in and be like, yeah, you have a virus.
Thank you for the information, guys. They're really helpful. Like, hermanes, take use of it. Write them down. Write it down.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys know me. I'm nosy. I like digging into you guys' lives. So I want to know everything that you guys did on abroad. I want to know, like, what did you guys do? Where did you guys go?
Okay. So for my program, what we did, like, so in the mornings, most days I was going to different hospitals and clinics in Bolivia, specifically La Paz, which is one of their capitals. They have 2 capitals. It's really interesting. But basically, that's where I was rotating at, just different hospitals. Some of them were public, some were private, just getting a sense of their healthcare system, different aspects of like health and stuff. And it was really cool. So I would do that usually from like 8 to 12 in the mornings. And then we would come back, eat lunch at our homestays, because so for my program, we stayed with like a family. For me, it was just an older lady, just one lady. She was super cool. Her name was Paula. But, so in the mornings, first we ate breakfast actually, and I was really mad in the beginning because all they would give us was 1 piece of bread and tea. Oh. And it wasn't even like a toast. It was like a slice. Like the smallest slice, and that was it.
It was like the end of the bread.
Yes, like it was like a loaf, and like a skinny loaf, but it was good though. They had good bread. I low-key forgot the names of everything already. But anyways, okay, so let me get this over with. Okay, so we would eat breakfast in the morning together, then we would go to our different hospitals, then we would come back for lunch, then we would usually have classes, so we would do our classes. My classes that I was taking were online for UCLA, but as part of the program we basically had like kind of learning experiences, I guess, where they would talk to us about the culture, about their healthcare system, stuff like that. So we would have afternoon classes to learn more about their stuff, and then after that, the rest of the night, it was pretty much free. We would do what we wanted, and then on the weekends, a lot of the time we would have like weekend trips. We would go explore a different area of the country, and it was really cute. Like it was super, like we would go explore nature and stuff and all of that.
That sounds fun. What did you do?
For me, it was like a little different because like it was less like, oh, like you're you're moving like in a group. Rather, a lot of it is like very individual. And then okay, so basically a typical, like the way we'd start off like our day was that like in the mornings you try and make breakfast, and like the thing with like Italians is like they don't go to like Costco or like buy in bulk, so you have to go like the day before, like every day to like get things. And I didn't live in a homestay, I lived in an apartment with like 5 other girls. And so I ended up making breakfast burritos almost every day because I just needed something so that I could like walk on the go so I could go to class. And that was like frowned upon in Italy because you're not supposed to like walk and eat. But anyways, if I wouldn't do that, I would go to like, it's because like there's like cafes just everywhere, so you would just go and then like oh man, now I really want to tell you something. But like you would just go and like you get like your cheap coffee and then like a little pastry, and it was so delicious. Like you would spend no more than like €5 and you'd have coffee and bread. And like Italians don't really believe in like big breakfast. Like that's an American thing. I like recently learned like that's maybe like a Northern American thing. Like it's just not a super big thing. But so then like you'd go and then I would like go to class. I would take like 1 or 2 class, like I'd have my 1 or 2 classes for the day, and then I would just like go and come back into my dorm. I'd watch some like Netflix, cook like lunch or whatever, or sometimes like I'd go to a forno, which is like a salty-ish like bakery, I guess, with like bread, and like I'd ask for like almost like you'd get like basically like a panini, for lack of a better word, but like a sandwich with like focaccia bread or whatever. And it was like really, really good. I really miss it. And like again, like it was no more than like €5, like for
That's crazy.
Yeah, because like honestly for it to be like the euro to be more expensive than the dollar, like it's like sustainable, like you're able to like survive. And so then, or like after class, it was either that like I'd go like back, or I'd go like and get a slice of pizza and like eat and then do homework and then explore like the city, like the surrounding area. So I'd go like to the leather market, or I'd go to like the local library because it was like really beautiful. And like if like you went to the top floor of like the library in Florence, like, and you sat outside, like you were able to see like the Duomo, which is like the church in Italy, and it was like a super great view, so I really loved it. And yeah, like sometimes like I'd hang out with other people or like friends, and like we'd go out to like different restaurants and whatnot, and then come back, like cook for yourself. But on the weekends, like you got to pick and choose like what you wanted to do, and so like if you stayed in Florence, like that was up to you. But every weekend I was in a different city in Italy, so sometimes like I'd do like, for the most part I'd just do like a day trip, and like I'd go like, for example, like Pisa, like it's a really short like day trip, so like I'd just hop on a train with my friends and then we'd go, and like you'd like just plan like a couple of weeks in advance. I wish I would have like done more planning like at the beginning and be like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and like you could just find like people that are gonna be like, yes, like I'll do it with you, or like honestly just go on your own, because like it's not that bad. Like it's just like asking people for pictures, like if you are into that. And so yeah, like I went to Rome, I went to Pisa, I went to Paris because I wanted to. It was my second time in Paris, but I wanted to see like how the city looked. I didn't really like Paris the first time I went. Don't cancel me. But the second time I went, I fell in love with it. Like it was really great. I really loved how everything with like the Olympics was just like super, like it was like everywhere. Like it was a really great experience. And then I also went to Spain. I went to Spain twice over the summer. Once I went to the south of the southern part of Spain, to Malaga, to see my cousin. And like I got to meet her husband and her kids for the first time, and I hadn't seen her since I was like 8 or 9, so it was super cool. And so that was really cool. And then I went again with Joss to Madrid for like a day. And then where else did I go? I went to the city of Lucca. It's not the city that like the movie's based off of. That's Cinque Terre. I did go to Cinque Terre with Joss later on after like over the summer. Yeah, I went like everywhere. It was really great. And like what's nice about Europe is that like you can find, like if you book early enough, like I can't stress this enough, if you book things early enough in advance, like you will find cheap tickets. Look on Ryanair. Not sponsored, but like look on Ryanair. And then just like you just have to look at things like early on in advance. But I really loved it. I also went to Venice, and like every city like in Italy is like known for something. So like in Florence specifically, that was probably my favorite city. Like I'm definitely biased because I studied there, but I don't think I could have studied abroad anywhere else. Maybe Bologna, but like I really love Florence, and for that, it was like the leather making capital like of Italy, and then like Venice is like really is known for like all of its glass making, and then like Turin I think is known for like its wine and chocolate, and Perugia also has like pretty like decent chocolate, and yeah.
Did you use the Netflix for like the US Netflix? You know you can like switch it over.
Yeah, it switches over like normally.
Yeah, it does it by itself.
It does it by itself, yeah.
Oh my god, I've seen like little hacks. But better like movies.
Yeah.
I've never done it myself, but
So like in Netflix in Italy, like they had Friends. Like they don't have it like in the US anymore, but they did have it over there. So I was like watching Friends.
Oh, and then when you went to Paris, did you try like the hot chocolate with like the whipped cream?
I did. I thought it was fine. But it was good. Like I don't know. I got like kind of like I don't know how to say it in English, pero se me hizo like empalagoso because it was just like a thicker chocolate. But like I did enjoy it. Honestly, like I think the food is better in Italy than it is in Paris. But like the Italian food that we're accustomed to like here in the US is very different than in Italy. Like it's a lot more simple, like everything is super local. Like my professor Simon, if you study abroad in Italy and you get Simon, like he is like amazing. But basically his wife used to say like if it has more than 5 to 7 ingredients, it's not Italian. And it's true because like all of the pastas, like everything is super simple because Italians value quality over like quantity of ingredients. So they'll have less like ingredients because it's like called like in Italian you say cucina poverta, I think. Like it's like a kitchen for the poor basically, just because it's so simple. But like you get good quality olive oil, then tomato, garlic, onion, and then like you have a sauce and like pasta.
You know why that could also be? Side note, because Europe didn't have seasonings before they colonized the world.
It's that, and it's also after like after world wars, like they also like some of the stuff like they have like certain breads like aren't really salted, and it's just because like of like the Italian bread because they took like salt away from them. And so like in Florence specifically they have like saltless bread.
They took salt out of
No, like it was just super expensive. So like they couldn't afford it. But yeah.
He said, you got your salt confiscated.
No more for you.
No, and also like they don't. Oh my god, that's another thing. If you go to study abroad in Europe, bring hot like spicy stuff, like hot sauce, because there's none of that there, and I was struggling. Like something would just be like something would be like spicy, and it was just warm, bro. Like it was not. You literally even that I was like, no, like this is not spicy, and I missed it. I also really like Asian food and like specifically Vietnamese food because it was really hot, and oh my god, they didn't have any of that, and it's because Italy is super like culturally conservative. It's called. And it's because like they don't really like accept food from like other places outside of like Italy. Like sure, you will find like a couple of stuff here and there, but like yeah, like it's not as common. Especially not in big cities. So.
Also, quick note on what we would do. Something that's really nice about my program too is that they provide us with basically like a tour guide, and he was super cool. Like his name was Beto, and like he would basically whatever we wanted to do, we could just ask him, and he would take us. So like all our weekend trips, he was the one who was taking us. But I would say for my program, unless you're a nature person, you're probably not going to enjoy it because a lot of what you do is kind of like exploring. Like he calls himself an eco-tourist type, you know? He's always trying to promote sustainability, which is really cool. Like I enjoyed it and like I wanted to be on the hikes and stuff, but there were definitely some people who did not want to be in nature like that. So they didn't really want to do that stuff, you know? But so I think that's something really cool about that program too. They provide you with someone who can help you navigate doing different culture activities. But something also I think in South America is there's not I would say people aren't as comfortable doing things alone. I don't think that's like and also like people wouldn't recommend it, you know, like my host family and Beto too, they wouldn't tell us like go by yourself to do things because it definitely is a little bit like dangerous because people can't tell you're not actually from there, so they can take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like Europe, I think there's a bigger study abroad like culture. I think so. It's a little more normalized to like be by yourself, especially during the day. Maybe not as much at night because like it's kind of dangerous like everywhere. But like definitely, at least when I went to Florence, the majority of people in the summer are American. I would say. I think.
Yeah, definitely not like that in Bolivia.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you guys too. How did you guys like? Because I know you went to like the local hospitals, like private or public. Were they like nearby? Like, did you walk or did you like take the bus?
Okay, so for my program, I love talking about this. Basically, in La Paz, first of all, I think the city is so unique for so many reasons, and I'm really grateful I got to go get to know it. But they have this form of transportation called telefericos, and basically they're like cable cars, but they're in the air. So that's how we would get to a lot of the hospitals we would go to, and it's so pretty. Like, it's really, really cool. It's super cool. It's basically like, you know, you're in like a little Ferris wheel type thing, and it's like, it's a line, and it's crazy because I have a picture of like their electrical lines were insane. You know, like hella tangled, like hella like 30 black lines, like all wrapped. But then they have this hella cool system that's electrically powered. You know, so it's just like, damn, it's
You're cabin on.
A few bumps. Just, like,
no, but for the teleférico, like, it's all planned out hella good. But yeah, so we would use that a lot of the time, and then they also have I looking for what they're called, but one thing they call them is like trufis. So basically they're these minivans, but they're like their buses. Like, you pay like, in American dollars it'd probably be like 5 cents, but for them it was like 2 pesos or whatever, and you just pay the driver, and you like, it's a whole bunch of people like just in a minivan, like in a soccer minivan, and it's hella funny because it's like a normal van, but they've also installed seats, like extra seats that you can find a way to get out. So the first time like me and my people got into these little vans, like we just sit next to whoever, and we're sitting down, and we're like squeezing into a row, like 3 of us into 2 seats. And then this next person gets on, and they pop up another seat out of nowhere, and like we keep seeing people get more seats, and we're like, how did these, like, where did these seats come from? Like, it's hella cool though. Like, it's really fun. You can definitely tell there's a lot more of a culture of like community based, you know, like it's this community way of traveling around versus us where we have like Ubers, like limousines, like they'll just jump into a van, you know. So that was another way we got around too.
I think for me it depends. So like in Italy, Florence is considered like a very much like a walking city, but like it would take you like 20 minutes to like pretty much walk anywhere. So it's very similar to Westwood in that sense, but it's not. Everywhere else I would say in Italy can be like pretty hilly. Like Rome can sometimes be hilly, and Siena is definitely super hilly, but Florence is not. It's pretty flat for the most part. Okay, so for us it was a little different, or well, it really depended. Florence is considered a walkable city, but like it takes you like 20-30 minutes to like walk from like end to end, and it's similar to Westwood in that sense because like you could just walk everywhere, but it's not hilly. In other parts of Italy, like Rome can be a little hilly. Siena is definitely hilly, like Westwood. Like imagine like walking up like to like the hill. I guess it would be like my easiest comparison. Whereas like what's it called? Florence is pretty flat, so you just need to walk. Like it's like just distance. But like if you were traveling like in a new city or in like a bigger city like Milan or Rome, there was like the metro, there was the train, there was buses. Like there's also like taxi.
What's the metro?
The metro, it's like underground.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like
and it would just
Oh.
like
yeah, metro there.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like the same brand?
No, I don't know if it's the same.
Oh.
It's called, like, I'm pretty sure it's called the metro. Honestly, like low-key me too. Like I forgot some of the things, but like yeah, no, like you would just travel and like you would get your ticket. Sometimes you like get it for the day or whatever. But like yeah, like you could just travel like further out into the city, and like just further out locations. Like there was always multiple ways to like get around, in Italy, and then to like travel like further distances to like other like bigger cities. So let's say from like Florence to like Rome, or like Florence to like XYZ, like you would like take like an actual train, and like it was pretty fast. I will say I think Italy's public transportation is good. Sometimes it's a little late, but I will say like Europe in general is pretty good. I know my best friends had said that London was like super great in like public transportation. It was really understandable. And then when I went to Spain, like I really liked it. It was super easy to like navigate, especially because I was just happy to be in a country where I like knew the actual language. So I was like, it was a lot easier for me to like navigate it. But I really liked it. It was super easy, and like for the most part, like you're just walking a lot.
Oh, I'm like, well, after we're taking the metro, because they have the one over there, and like the little like cable car thingy.
Yeah,
That's cool.
the
That's
telefericos, they're super cool.
Okay, well, I'm gonna move on to the next question. I feel like you guys kind of touched on it, but like not really. I feel like it's a pasta, no seasoning over there, no salt. But did you guys have like any like culture shock like over there, or was it just like you guys walked in and were like, wow, it's so new to me. Like that's it. Like not be like, wait, they do this.
I would say for me, I just didn't realize like how American it was to like carry a water bottle, and like they're like so this is Katelyn's water bottle. People would not walk around with water bottles, and I think it's because in Europe there's like a really big like cigarette smoking culture, so they just smoke, and that's why I heard like they just weren't as thirsty, I guess. But like no, like my professor, because he was teaching in Florence. My professor Simon, he was teaching in Florence, and his wife's Italian, but he himself is British, and so he was like, I've never seen anything like it, like Americans drinking water, like I just can't imagine drinking as much water, like you guys like fill up like your hydro flask like 2-3 times a day, and it is hot in like Europe. It is super hot over the summer, so I was like dying, and like I could not be like I guess like I got used to it, like once like week 5 or 6, like you could tell like when the Americans had just landed because they would buy like the fattest water bottles. But like at the beach I was like I could not handle it. Like I was in the middle of class and I was dying for like water if I finished mine. That, and like you have to like like they charge for water if like you just like, can I get water, like you have to ask for tap water, and then they look at you kind of funny, and they don't really do ice. But some of like, it wasn't really culture shocks, but like in class like you would learn about like Italian mannerisms, and so like I, for whatever reason, have a really sensitive stomach, and like I remember one time like I was really sick before class, and I was talking to like the director of like the students, and her name was Daniela, and I was like, Daniela, I'm so sorry, like I don't think I can go to class, will you let Cinzia, like my professor, know, like here's my homework, but I need to go like lie down, I need to be in bed, my stomach really hurts. She's like, oh, no worries. And she was like, yeah, just make sure to not eat anything cold, don't eat anything standing up. And like these are like, yeah, and I was like, that was just, it was very, very Italian of her. And it's similar to like Mexicans and like their modismos of like, oh, like no salgas con el pelo mojado. But like for them it's like you can't eat anything cold because then it'll like upset your stomach, and if you're walking and eating, it's just not good for your digestion. Yeah, so yeah, not culture shock.
Snacks every day. Like, oh,
yeah. But for me, like I found a lot of similarities between Mexican culture and Italian culture, which I really, really liked.
Yeah, I would say for me there was definitely a good amount of culture shocks, but I would probably say one of the biggest things that I felt was, yeah, like just that more community-oriented culture as compared to the U.S., which I think is like typical of like Latino cultures to begin with. But it was really nice. Like I really enjoyed being in that culture, and just even being in that space where like random people will just be like hola or like buenos dias, or also hearing like their special Spanish lingo, you know, because every Spanish has like its own words. So that was really fun too, to like hear those things. But yeah, they'd be like buen dia, you know, like they'll say that a lot, and just stuff like that. And like right as soon as 12 hit, it'd be like buenas tardes, and then like in the night it's like buenas noches, you know, like they're on it. But that was super nice. I think also one of the really special things about Bolivia is that it's actually the country with the largest indigenous population, and it's considered like its title is like it's like a plurinational state. Like it's not considered just a country, like it has different like sections for its various indigenous communities. So you see like in the city in La Paz, which is like super city, like they have huge apartment like buildings. They have a whole bunch of apartment buildings that are really tall, and like that was also, I was like, oh, like I wasn't expecting to see this, you know. And then you'll see like just mainly women in like traditional wear, like really big skirts and like specific hats, and like a whole bunch of knitted clothing and stuff. So like very like indigenous wear. So it was just really interesting too to just see them like in the city and stuff. I think also probably the breakfast thing, they definitely, yeah, they eat really small breakfast, and that was tough to adjust to. And then also I don't know, there's definitely a lot though for, oh, you know what, something too, they don't eat veggies. Like I was missing my veggies over there. All they eat is
I'm fine with that.
like straight carbs, like straight bread.
It's the skinny bread though, it cancels out.
And then yeah, like occasionally maybe like a little piece of chicken. But yeah, they don't have like no carrots over there or nothing like that.
I think in Italy, honestly, they didn't have like a lot of salads like that either. Like I know like some of them like were, yeah, like a lot of it was like pasta and pizza and like different fishes and like, yeah.
See, but I always hear like, or hear and see like TikToks or stories about how like when people go like out of the US, they like tend to lose like weight because like everything they use over there is like better. So I feel like even though like there's no vegetables or like you just eat like pasta and stuff, I feel like a lot in Italy, like I feel like Europe, a lot of people like say like I lost like this amount of weight, now I'm back in America and I'm like I gained it all back.
Yeah, because I was eating gelato every day. Gelato, like a bakery, like I was being a major big bag. Like I was literally in a class to be a big bag. Like it was like you would like sample things. Like I would tell Katelyn, yeah, like we had like cheese tasting and like different like olive oil tasting. Anyways, I was a big bag, and yeah, like. I definitely lost weight. I think a part of it is like there's not as much like chemicals I think in their food, but also with all of the walking that you do, like it's like I miss my car so much. But like I didn't have a car there, so like I had to walk it everywhere. And like there was like birds. Oh, there was birds.
What?
Yeah, there was birds revolving. And I was literally like. Because I remember my friends. Birds International, yeah, dude. But like my friends would like go on them, and what's it called? Like I went on them and I was speeding through it, but like because like the pavement is just like uneven and it wasn't like just like straight like flat cement, like there was like cracks and indents. You would go like that, and then like it was like shaking. The problem is it wasn't even that it was like shaking because I was like I can control it, like I'm fine. But then like after a while like it hurt my arms and I don't know, like the blood in my arms felt like funny. I was like, oh, I don't really like this.
It's like if you go to Target, you know how they have like when you're younger they had like the little yellow thing, like the cart and it would shake. That's what I picture. Yeah, but that's crazy, bird. I'm like over here thinking like
I used it maybe like twice.
That's
like, not
funny.
a lot.
I'm like not over that. I'm like for me, I'm like I'm really like trying to process that they have it like back home. Like now, like everyone in East LA like ride. I'm like, what are you doing on the scooter? So I can imagine like in Italy, like hey, you guys have this too.
Yeah. No, you see them randomly, not too often, but like you could see them. And people were on bikes a lot, and like they just told us not to rent a bike, but yeah.
No, but yeah, so also TMI, because like there weren't a lot of veggies or fruit, I was missing the fiber in my diet, guys. It was so bad. You go into the restaurant,
like,
it was terrible. Yeah, like all there was bread, guys. So I was so constipated, bro. It was so bad.
I don't know I don't know, but my stomach was really sound. I think I felt that I was becoming more lactose over there.
Oh,
which is really weird, but like. And it was just like lactose at like random times. Yeah, but like the cheese was so good.
Oh my god.
No, yeah, I did hear about some people in my program who like lost weight because we weren't eating as much. But yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Kids like I say the same fatties.
Yeah, I did.
the bread. It's because she was back though, because she didn't have any vegetables.
Yes! That was so bad, guys.
I know you mentioned your friend Josh. Did you guys meet any like new people? Like I don't know, come across them like any like buddies or just like hey goodbye and that's it?
I would say the people in my study abroad program. Also, something special about something cool about my program is that we had a cohort from UCLA, but there are also cohorts from other schools there. So I would say I got really close with the people that I didn't know about from UCLA. Like we haven't made any plans yet, but hopefully we'll do something soon. They're super cool though. And then also like there were some people from like the University of South Florida, I think, or USF was the thing. It was definitely Florida. Oh, also from what was hers? Notre Dame. Yeah.
Oh,
so like they were super cool, and they were there like the month before we got there, so they gave us a whole bunch of tips on what to do, like stuff like that. So they were super nice, super cool. I mean, I have them on Instagram. But when it comes to locals, I wouldn't say I got like buddy with them, but it was possible. Like they're nice, but
they're just like nice and general. You're like, hey friend, or like
it was just Paula for me. That was my girl, my homestay mom.
For me, it was low-key. I was telling my friends this. I connected with like a couple of girls in my apartment, but like not like it was mostly like kind of just like, oh, like you're just like cordial with them. And then like with the people in my classes, this one girl, her name was Sophia. Like because I didn't have any friends in like my like language class, and like we both connected because like no one would talk to us, and everyone already had like their groups and stuff. So like it was just the two of us, and we kind of really bonded. So she was just super cool. And then like one of my housemates was in like my other class, and so like I became like really good friends with her, and like with a couple of other girls like Cece. She was in my class, and she like they were from like other UCs, and I got to know like a couple of other people. But I would say like I don't know, it was looking kind of hard because it was hard to meet people that were like outside of your class, and the people that I met that were outside of my class that I became friends with, I didn't meet till like the last like week and a half of like the program. And like I did end up going with, coincidentally, one of my friends from like elementary school.
That's
A family friend from like elementary school. We both like coincidentally ended up in the same program. And so her and her friend, like we like all became like good friends, and like this other girl from Berkeley, her name was Melissa, we became friends and we would travel together. But I think like aside from that, like I had a couple of experiences where I was like, oh, like I want to go back to UCLA, like this was not these are not like the people for me, because I had a couple of like low-key kind of racist experiences with like some of the students, and I was like, oh, like this is not a bop. But like I will say, because like I felt like during the week especially, like I was alone a lot. Like I'm really bad about hanging out with like myself, I guess. And so I really did learn to enjoy my own company and like get to like explore everything I wanted to, because like I had different interests than my friends, and so like sometimes I'd just like leave like class and like go exploring like more places and like end up meeting up with them later. So like people were like cool, I guess, but like I would definitely recommend staying with at least like one person that you know, like that they're like good friends with.
That's crazy.
I would agree with that, but honestly, I think the really nice thing about my program is that it's so small that it doesn't get cliquey. Like it was only 10 of us, so it was like we all did things together for the most part. So that was the nice part about mine. And I think also, yeah, that's why I really want to go to Europe like that. Like I knew I was interested in going to Europe, but also I think for my program it attracts more like pox. You know, like other like Latino students, like other people of color. So like I think we were able to connect through that.
I missed my Latina queen for sure.
And I was gonna ask, what's something new that you guys did over there? Like, what's one like on the top of your list, like something that's new, and you're like, I did it, but like in a different country.
For me, I think it was just traveling, because like I was able to see like I'm a really big fan of like the painting The Birth of Venus, and then like there's like the Statue of David, and like all of these like art, like design like paintings and like art pieces, and just being like I realized like how little I know of the world and like how big it is compared to me. And it was just like, oh my god, like I remember when I went to Pisa to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa, I was like, oh my god, it really does lean. Like I thought it was just like a little crooked, but no, like that I can confirm like it really does lean.
Wait, how does that work actually?
It's because of like the way like the structural, like the way the foundation was built, and so they were trying, it like leaned a little and because of the foundation, and then they tried to fix it by adding more weights to one side, but that didn't end up helping, that just made it lean more. And so like like it just continues to lean till this day.
That is crazy.
And like it's super cool. But yeah, I think for me it was just like, oh my god, like I'm seeing all of these places that I never thought like I would see like in my lifetime, and like now like I'm here, like little old Maria Angelina is like here like in Europe, like looking at like the Birth of Venus. Like yeah, it's like now I can post a picture of the Birth of Venus to the Kiss of Venus by why am I forgetting his name? But yeah, Dominic Fike, Kiss of Venus, with Paul McCarthy. But I was like, oh my god, like this is so cool, like everything like I had dreamed about like I'm doing, and I got to see the Mona Lisa again. I'm a really big fan of the Mona Lisa. Me and her like this. Yeah.
Huh, that's a really hard question, honestly, because I think obviously there's a lot that I did that I've never done before, but I don't know if there's anything I did that I was like hoping to do. I don't know, I can't think of anything right now. But I would say one thing is probably like we went to a refuge, like an animal refuge, so I got to see like monkeys and like tigers, like bears,
that's
like
so
those.
cool.
Yeah, so that was really cool, and it was like those are all animals that had been saved from like trafficking basically and stuff like that. So yeah, so that was really cool. And then and the special thing about that place is like it's not supposed to be a zoo, so basically we're in the cages. Like we are in like we walk around in like the little middle trail, and like we can't exit, and then like you'll see like monkeys climbing over you, and like some of the animals are like in like little places because they can't be free basically because they're free, like they'll just leave. And then also it's just I don't know, it's complicated, but basically like they try to make it so that we're the ones in cages and not the animals.
That's such
That's
a great
cool.
metaphor.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like that.
Yeah, so that was really, really cool. I don't know what else. Something cool, funny too is like we went to their movie theater, you know, so we watched like the Minions movie in Spanish. And like when we got there was when like the first Inside Out movie had came out, and in Spanish it was called like Intensamente, like too.
I went to the theater. Okay, so there was like a theater in Florence. I also saw Inside Out, but like it was in English. It was in English with like Italian captions, but it was so cool because that movie theater is also like a bookstore and a library, and like on the underground, like it's also like a nightclub. So like it was like multi-purpose, multi-use, and like it was so cool. Like I like had never seen anything like it.
Actually, also one thing I did do that I probably would have never thought I would do is that I ate llama. Because llamas are really like they're popular over there. They're in I think what are they? The Andes Mountains. Like the llamas are normal in that area. So in Bolivia and in Peru and I think in other places too. But yeah, so they fed us llama one time, and our guide like he kept it a secret. He didn't tell us what it was. They were just eating this unknown meat, but it was llama. I wouldn't really recommend it. I'd say like beef is better, but I don't know. I tried that.
Llama.
Yeah, poor llama.
She a victim.
Okay, guys, we're getting close to the end, so I have 2 last questions. The first question is, if you could build your own like studying abroad program, where would it be at, and like what would you teach, or like what would it be about?
Interesting. That's crazy.
I feel like I don't know enough about Europe, so I don't think I could do it in Europe. I would probably, the only place I think I know relatively well, I would say is like Oaxaca, because that's where my mom is from. So I'm a big foodie. I'm a big bag too, but I'm a big foodie, and I think in particular for like countries like Mexico or like just like in Latin America in general, food is really the heart of like the culture itself. So I would have like if I could design the program, like obviously I'd make one like language, and like similar to like how like my language program was formed, like you would do like a tour in like a different part of the city like every class, and then after you would have like the class for like just to learn the language in Spanish, but like I would also add the regionalismos, so not just like the proper way that they teach you how to speak Spanish, but like what people are using like and like their everyday language. And then like another class I would do is like on the artesanías in Oaxaca, because Oaxaca is known for being like for like doing all of these like incredible like art pieces called artesanías. So I'd do that, and then I'd have another class specifically on food, because Oaxaca I think is like the most like indigenous like diverse state, and so how like depending on like what area you're from, like what like type of food they eat, and like how it changes like from area to area.
I'm sign me up. I'm there.
Yeah, that's a hard question. I would honestly say it's something similar to the program I did, either I don't know, like anywhere in South America or in Central America, you know, like I gotta represent for El Salvador, but I don't know the history too well, as much as like I feel like my guide like helped us learn about Bolivia, you know. But I think anywhere like in Latin America specifically, I think for me, just doing any like you could do a program that's like health based, you could do one that's like international law, you could do like, I think you could do so many different programs, like you could do a history program, like social justice, you learn like global studies, you know, anything. I think I would make my program somewhere based here in Latin America, and then make it about like the history, the social norms, like things like that, and then also have like food and trips and everything. So yeah.
I'm like, I'm going, guys. I'm signing up right now. Okay, and then for the final question, I'm like, to our hermanas, would you recommend studying abroad after our debrief of your guys'
Yes,
experience?
I cannot. I remember I was calling one of my littles. I was calling Jackie, and like also I was like telling my twin Jimena, and I was like, no, like y'all need to like study abroad. Like it is the move. Because even though like I didn't have like the best experiences with like some of the people there, like honestly it doesn't even matter, because like you just learn so much, like not only about like wherever you go, but like about yourself, and like you really transform as like a person, because like you're in a new area, new place, and like you learn so much, and you get to, it's like a very unique opportunity, and like I can't recommend it enough. I would definitely study abroad if you can.
Yes, I agree. I think if it's even slightly on your mind that you're interested, look
Apply.
into it, apply, like make it happen because it's definitely going to be worth it. I think it's such a special experience, like because you're not just a tourist, like you are living there, you're learning there, and like when else in your life are you going to be able to do that? So definitely recommend it.
I'm like, you guys heard it here. Study abroad. I probably will look into it too. Because I feel like I've been seeing a lot of study abroad. I'm like, I don't know.
Yes, let us
Yes.
know if you guys end up applying.
Yes, and
Yes.
also please, if you have any more questions, literally contact
Please, we
me.
love talking. And
Yes.
Lisa's always making fun of me because she's like, you went to Italy? I can't tell. But yeah, so definitely, like, if you have questions,
yeah.
let us know.
I have so much more to tell about it if you want.
Yes, I have. Yeah, it became like pretty much my whole personality. Literally, my first tattoo was about it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Okay, but thank you guys so much for coming
Thank
on.
you for having me.
Thanks for
I'm
having
like,
us.
I love chatting with you. I'm like, it's so fun. I love talking about like study abroad because I don't have no clue about this. But after this, I feel like I know a lot, and I feel like I'm prepared.
Yeah.
Yes. You're
Start
on it.
looking
You'll
into
be in
it.
it.
Looking into it right
Yeah.
now.
I will. But once again, thank you again, and thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have
We'll
any
see you.
questions, if you have
Yes.
any questions, let them know.
Mhm.
Yes, we'll be
Okay.
here to answer.
Bye.
You can find me on Slack, Instagram,
Same.
you know.
Bed with like a fever and like I had to pay like out of pocket for like a doctor to come in and be like, yeah, you have a virus. And like I could have told you that, but like what specifically do I have?
Oh my god, doctor came to your place and was
Yeah,
like, you're like
I
on the
was
bed.
low-key, I was literally dying. I was like in my
remember
bed.
that.
Oh my god, yeah, because I was FaceTiming Katelyn during this time. And I was like, no, like I'm dying, like I can't get out of bed. Like I would be exhausted, like walking downstairs to go to the kitchen and walking up to my room. I needed an hour nap after that. That's how sick I was. And so I would call my mom, like, pobrecita. She was like, you need to call someone, like they need to like get you a doctor. And so I called the doctor. And then I was like, oh my goodness, like we were like WhatsApping or whatever, and I was like, oh, do you like need to? Would you like me to come like to your like residence and whatnot? Because like it was that, or like I had to go in person, and like I wasn't strong enough to get out of bed, y'all.
That's crazy.
And so he came, and then like it was so weird because I was alone in my room, and I was like, what if this is it? Like what if I get kidnapped abroad? Like what if I don't even speak the language? But like you know, like he like came in, he did his thing, and then I was like, oh, can we check if it's COVID? He's like, oh, okay. It's gonna be an extra €10, and I was like, damn, like, are you gonna charge me to breathe in your direction too?